Hello, Jesse, you didn't make a video. I did make a video, but I uploaded it just a couple of hours before Neil uploaded his, so I think it kind of got drowned, went kind of unnoticed, which is fine. I didn't really make anything worthwhile in it. But the fact that you didn't make a video is actually quite beneficial to me today, because Neil, you made a fantastic video with 2 points that I'd very much like to talk about. The first point was kind of English departments and like college and university versus sort of creative writing courses and stuff. And while I'm not part of those, I can kind of understand like that that quote that you read, kind of from an outsider's point of view. Like, I do kind of consider creative writing courses to be sort of like unworthy for some reason. I kind of think that like, oh yeah, you're doing creative writing, right, okay, so you're not talented. I see what you're doing there. Or, you know, alright, so you're studying English literature, blah blah blah, English literature, so you're pretentious. Good. Why don't we have fun there? So like, coming from an outsider, I can kind of see that. I understand, of course, I know in my head that both of those statements are wrong, to, I'd say, probably a larger degree than they're right. But I still kind of get that idea. And it is kind of the same, I think it is probably kind of the same across lots of things. Like, can't think of a particularly good example for what I do, but like 2D animation versus 3D animation. There's some people that like are very much gung-ho, 3D animation is the way forward and everything should be in 3D and everything should be fantastic in 3D and it's the future, man, let's do this, 3D, bam 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 bam. Whereas I think it's kind of considered that people who are more into 2D are kind of more nostalgic and kind of think back onto, whoa, that was strange, into kind of like early Disney and sort of keeping tradition alive and it being a kind of more valid art form than 3D, which I think is true. I subscribe to the 2D principle more than the 3D principle, but I know that it's not true. I know that the reason I hate 3D films is I think that like 3D films now are kind of rushed, like not Pixar, but it seems like everybody's kind of jumping on the bandwagon that Pixar's so successful and they don't really care for what makes a Pixar movie great. And a Pixar movie isn't great because it's in 3D and it looks fantastic. It's great because the story is great. And I kind of consider that things like B-movie and things like that, any other examples I can think of off the top of my head, Ice Age I didn't like either. I don't think they take into consideration as much that the story is as necessary as in 2D animation. In 2D animation you've got, of course, the fantastic rich history of fantastic two-dimensional animated films, but there's shit that's in 2D, so much, millions and millions of things that suck that are in 2D. So yeah, that sort of divide, that sort of entirely incorrect divide, I think it probably does happen across sort of all kind of areas. I mean, I'd be very surprised if there wasn't something, Jesse, that you could think of that relates to that as well. Your other point was nostalgia. I'm sorry, I just ate my dinner. I'm very thirsty. Your other point was nostalgia. How we're sort of obsessed with nostalgia, like old cartoons and other things like that. But then these things come and they're remade, and our expectations are off, and we don't like them anymore. There comes disappointment. You mentioned G.I. Joe. There's a million things like that. Transformers is another one. I don't care massively for Transformers or original or new. Same with G.I. Joe. I've never seen either. But there's a million things like that. And I don't think so much it's it's that we build ourselves up with things like people who love Transformers will love Transformers, and then the movie comes out and the movie sucks. And I don't think it's entirely down to the person that sort of built this idea up in their head that Transformers was always good, because Transformers kind of sucks, and the movie sucks. So really, there's not really much of a build-up there. It's sort of on par. It sort of fits. I think really it's that companies like studios kind of big up things. Like Transformers was made a really big deal of that Transformers was coming out, and they made it seem like it was going to be such a good thing, and then when it came out it really sucked, just because in general it was just a bad movie, terribly written. The Autobots looked awful. It wasn't good. So there's that sort of aspect. Definitely people bigging it up in their own minds, definitely an aspect to it, but I don't think it's entirely their fault. Another point that came up, it didn't really come up, but came up in something else I was watching, and I think it's relevant to this, is when people remake something that's very close to their own heart, and they come into it as a fan and feel that they need to sort of respect all of this continuity that came before it and make references and in-jokes and everything to that, and end up sort of ruining it via that and making it inaccessible to new audiences, and just kind of a stalemate for fans, like genuine fans. Sorry. Because they tend to be so wrapped up in showing that they're fans of something than they are of continuing the story and developing things. So, yes, I don't really have a closure point for that. Never mind. 7 minutes, good God. As for me, college rolls on, everything's fine, having a good time. I have all these illustrations for this goddamn book that I have to do very soon. It's due on the 21st, and I haven't done half of what I'm supposed to do yet, so I'm going to finish this movie, upload it, and get to work on that. I don't have any time to do anything else. Jesse, I will see you tomorrow. Neil, I will see you. You know how this works. We've been doing this for ages.